Here is a very simple and extremely effective routine that you can do every day that can significantly accelerate your guitar progress. Now, this is essentially my warm-up routine. It's exactly the same routine that I do on a daily basis, and I think it's important to share with you because I feel like a lot of beginner and amateur musicians, maybe even some professionals, incorrectly omit the warm-up from their practice sessions. And that's a mistake for two main reasons, according to science. The first reason is that the warm-up is intended to help prime us cognitively, meaning our brains, so that when we get into our main learning session or even a performance, we're faster at learning material, we can consolidate it better, and we can even be more musical in a performance setting because we're more concentrated. The second reason has to do with motor skills. It's the same concept though, right? In a warm-up, we're priming our motor skills so that when we get into our the meat of our practice session or our performance, we can access the information faster, move our fingers faster, more precisely and more musically, right? Again, so warm-ups have two purposes: cognitive priming and motor priming. Priming is basically just introducing ourselves to a material, some kind of stimuli material that's similar enough to what we're going to be doing later on, so that when we engage in the activity that we want to do later on, we can access the information faster because we've already gotten a taste of what that's like, right? And there's a lot of research to support that priming, motor priming, and cognitive priming do accelerate the learning process and motor skill development process. So with that said, I want to just tell you what's included in my warm-up routine. There are two main parts. There's a calisthenic component, and I know it might sound crazy, but don't worry, it's not like running 2 miles. It's very simple, it only takes 2 minutes, and I'm gonna show you that first. And the second has to do with basic, really just fundamental techniques on the guitar for both hands. The right hand will do some contracting movement, right? We'll do some extension movement, some rotation movement, also including the thumb. And for the left hand, we'll do some slurs, like hammer-ons and pull-offs, and then we're gonna do some combination, right, where we coordinate both hands. So with that said, let's jump right in. I'm gonna start with the calisthenics. The first exercise that we're gonna do is simple jumping jacks. This is what I do every morning to start off, and just usually about 10 of them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the next exercise that I do are shoulder circles or arm circles, and usually about 5 to 10 in each direction. That's 5 forward, 5 backward. After this, I do simple shoulder shrugs, just up and down. Right, and then after this one, I do kind of like a standing jump rope, just to get my elbows moving, usually about 4 or 5 in one direction, and then the other. And this one are simple forearm rotations. You want to do these quickly and loosely, make sure to stay super loose. Next one is going to be your hands side to side, so it's kind of working lateral movement of the hands and the wrists. Very easy, again, loose and light always. This one is up and down, same movement, just flexion and extension of the wrist, again, very loose and light, kind of like floppy ears. After that, we're going to do simple wrist circles, hand and wrist circles, again, very loose and light. Try to eliminate tension when you do this. The idea is just to get movement in the body. Now, open and closing the fingers very quickly, very, very loosely and lightly. Don't add tension to this. Okay, please, this is going to be contraction and extension at the same time. Now this one, just simple stretches. I do side to side stretches. I'll stretch my neck, do some neck circles. Anything just that you feel your body needs, just add that into the mix. Now, okay, now after this one, I'm just gonna do really simple, light stretches right at the fingers. So very light, not hard at all, very loose. Anything that my fingers need, just kind of play around with it. You can do individual fingers as well, instead of just the whole hands. And then finally, I'll just do something for my back and my legs, toe touches, just kind of hang out and that kind of thing. If there's anything else you need to add into the mix, you can do that, but this is exactly what I do in my warm-up routine to make sure that I'm activated and ready to go. Before I get into the actual routine itself with a timer and everything, I want to just to quickly explain each of the exercises. Once again, they're very simple. Anybody can do these exercises. Just make sure that you follow 2 guidelines. The first of which is to always do everything as loosely and lightly as possible. Even if you're trying to get good volume out of any of these exercises, make sure you're as loose and light as possible. Don't add any more muscular activation than what's needed to produce the sound and the movement that you want, okay? So with that said, exercise number 1 is a simple tapping exercise. So this is where we're gonna tap with index and middle, then middle and ring, index and ring, on each string for a minute. So you want to tap fairly close to the fingertips, and you want to, I like to count in groups of 10, pairs of 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then M, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, next string, and then I'll do that same thing for each of the fingers. It looks like this at speed. Right? And again, the idea is to stay loose and light, very, very loose and light. If you're starting to feel tension, that means you're going too fast for your current level. So slow down, make sure you're not adding any excess tension, just what you need to make the fingers move loosely and lightly. The point of this is to train the fingers to move quickly without any unnecessary tension. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, left hand, single finger slurs. We do 2 of them per string. Hammer on, pull off, hammer on, pull off. Looks like this. In both directions. And we do that for each finger, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, 2 things to note. For the hammer-on, make sure that you're, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, it's not so great focus, but make sure that the string hits the fingertip in the exact same spot all the time. For each finger, same spot of the fingertip. Even if you're turning the finger a little bit, it should be in generally the same center point. The second thing is for your pull-offs. Well, actually, let's go back to the hammer-ons. With the hammer-ons, make sure you're not applying any more force than you need to get the string to sound. So I think of my fingers like a whip, loose and light. Just quick snap of the finger to get the note to sound out. I don't want to press. The harder you press, then the more energy it's going to take to get the finger off the string, right? So as loosely and light as possible. For the pull-off, make sure you're not doing a lift-off, right? You're not just like basically pulling away or moving away from the string. You actually want to pluck the string, right? That's downward and outward, right? So there's two ways you can do the pull off depending on the phrase that you're doing. I recommend in this case playing around with them. One day you can do this one where you don't hit the adjacent string, and then another day you land on the adjacent string and lift off, right? Right? So it looks like this with both of them. Sorry, hammer on, pull off, hammer on, pull off. If you want to combine it, where you don't hit the adjacent string, that's fine as well. Remember, loose and light, up and down with each finger, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exercise number 3, some kind of contracting movement that involves all the fingers except for the pinky in the right hand. So I will toggle. One day I'll do arpeggios, a full double arpeggio, which is P-I-M-A-M-I, and another day I'll do tremolos. So it doesn't matter. Today, let's do arpeggios. This is strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. So P-I-M-A-M-I. Start at a comfortable tempo, not too loud, not too quiet. Then work on increasing your volume and staying loose, and lowering the volume, increasing your tempo. Right? You can go as fast as you want, as long as you're not adding any unnecessary tension. And again, you can alternate if you want to do tremolos, any tremolo, 5-note, 4-note tremolos, doesn't matter. It's just working the contracting movement. Okay, and then just a minute, it doesn't matter what strings you use. I would recommend that you make sure you're not just limiting yourself to the first string. So if you're gonna do tremolo, make sure you're doing the second string, the third string. If you're gonna do arpeggios, sorry, inside strings as well. Okay, so you want to make sure you're working on that so that you make sure that, like you heard, the back of my nail, sorry, the back of the nail doesn't hit the adjacent string. All right, so you want to train that into your warm-up as well. Okay. The next exercise is a combination exercise. That's going to focus on the right thumb and coordination of the left hand fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The pattern is really simple. In one direction, we play 5 notes on a single string, followed by 3 string crossing notes. The way I think of it, though, is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then the way back. All right, we're gonna do the opposite. But but you get the idea, forward and backward for both of those. Not too fast, make sure you loosen light. I did rest strokes for the thumb. You're welcome to do free strokes one day, rest strokes the other. Again, this is just a warm-up. It doesn't have to be a complete thumb exercise, right? It's just a warm-up. Number 5, we're gonna look at extensions for the right hand. So C-A-M-I extensions. It's gonna be 1 burst, rest, rest, rest. Just muted strings. You're welcome to use any chord. I just use muted strings to do this. So what you want to hear is takatadan, 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 right? Right. Make sure it's even. If you're trying to go as fast as me and you're not getting that even sound, make sure to slow down. This one, I usually set my timer for 1 minute, but I usually don't complete the minute. I usually stop at about 30 seconds or so because I start to feel kind of warmth. My hand starts to get tired. That's fine. It's a minute or less, right? So try setting a minute. You might go slowly, and a minute is enough for you. For me, it's just too much, okay? The next one is a rotation rasgueado. So we're gonna go down with these 3 fingers, I, M, and A, and up with the thumb. So it looks like this, and I use muted strings for now. Again, it's just a warm up, just to prime the motor skills for what we're gonna be doing later. When you go down, you wanna make sure to get the thumb a little out of the way of the strings, and not too much, just a little so that it doesn't hit the strings when you go down, right? A little bit out of the way. And then when you go up, you wanna make sure, if you don't move the fingers, they're gonna get stuck. So you wanna curl the fingers in a little bit on the way up, right? So thumb out, fingers in, right? And start slowly, loosely, and lightly. Make sure the shoulder's relaxed. And then you can increase the tempo, decrease the dynamics, increase the dynamics. You wanna be very musical, even though it's a warm-up. Try to be as musical as possible. So make changes in your tempos and your dynamics and your tone, even that kind of thing. Okay. And then the last exercise is another combination, but we're going to be working the picado, or the index and middle fingers, for scale work. You can use any combination of fingers that's comfortable for you. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend index and middle, I and M, or M and I. Some people use I and A. I used to use I and A a lot. Now I actually use 3-finger most of the time for my picados, but I and M is fine, and that's going to be combined with the same pattern that we did for the thumb. So it looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Now string cross, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. So I'm using I, starting with I on the way up, ascending, so bass string to the higher string, so going down in direction. And then when I go the other direction, which is descending, everything's backward in the guitar, I'm gonna go Z, start with M, so M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, and so forth. Now, you notice I'm doing rest strokes. You can also use free strokes, right? So again, change it up. One day do one, another day do the other. You could base your warm-up on what you're gonna be doing in your more involved practice session. If you have a lot of rest strokes in your practice session, maybe warm up the rest strokes. If you have free strokes, warm those up. You can also combine them. You can do half the strings rest stroke, half the strings free strokes. Remember, it is a warm-up. The point of the warm-up is to just prepare ourselves for the work we're doing later. It's not to have a whole technical drilling session. If you want to do that, I do that. For me, I warm up, and then I have about 45 to 50 minutes of actual technique work, and then later on I do another hour or so of repertoire work. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 7 exercises. With that said, let's jump in. I'm going to set the timer so you can actually see what it looks like in practice. Okay, we're set up to go through the actual warm-up routine, minus the calisthenics, which I've already done. Normally I would do the calisthenic routine for a couple minutes and then literally just sit right down, open my phone up, set my timer for 1 minute and 5 seconds, so that extra 5 seconds is kind of my countdown for the next exercise, and then I'm ready to go. I'm going to do them in the order that I presented them in this video at the beginning, but you don't have to do them in that order. You can do them in any order you want. In fact, I think it's smart to vary that a little bit. Maybe start initially doing them in order, and then when you get tired of that order, then switch it up. So I'm going to start with my tapping. So index and middle tapping, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and again, staying loose. Very loose. Oops. So if I mess up, I'm actually going to slow down. I'm going to do I and M again. And then M and A. A little slower for that one. It's done. Okay, next one, hit the timer. This is going to be my left hand slurs. 3, 2, 1. Third finger, sorry. Now if I make a mistake, I actually want to go over it again. So the third finger, the fourth finger, a little bit slower, is the clumsiest one. So I'm going to do that one again, a little clumsy on that fourth finger. Remember to stay loose, really loose. And third finger again. Very loose and very, very light. And that one is done. Now the next one I'm going to do are my double arpeggios. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very slow. Loud. Very quiet. Changing my tone. I want to think musical, even though it's a warm-up. Made a mistake there. Some tension. Slow down. Okay, so that's good. It's my double arpeggio. Again, you can replace it with a tremolo. My next one is going to be that thumb and left hand coordination. 3, 2, 1. No, sorry. So I started to change the rhythm. You saw me changing my position, changes my tone, change my volume. Eventually I might change the rhythm if I get tired of doing evens. Any variation is always good. Next one are going to be my rasgueado extensions. This is the one where I usually cut early. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Always start easy. Be dynamic. Right? You don't have to go that fast. The key is to stay loose. So you hear what this sounds like with a chord. warm there. I usually stop it about there. So I'll give my hand a break and just stop the timer for a second. I didn't even get to the minute, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so delete that. So next one is going to be my rotations. Same thing with this one. I'll usually 3, 2, 1. Usually cut it off a little bit early, right? Start really easy, quiet, loosely. Remember to get the thumb out of the way and the fingers curled a little bit. Watch the shoulder. Make sure the shoulder's loose. Warmth, usually about, looks like about 45 seconds for those. Okay, so that's my rotation, again, loose and light. And then my last one is going to be my chromatic scale, so index IM MI with my coordination. So 3, 2, 1. Start easy. I started with the wrong finger. All right. So this is string cross. So you can see I kind of started mixing it up a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna, it doesn't have to stay to that exact routine all the time. What I did do in this one, which could be important for you to think about, is first I started with open strings, I am, right? And then for each string on the way down, and then on the way back, it should have started with M on the open string. However, you also want to start with M on the way down, like ascending scale. So and you're gonna get an inverted fingering, which is extremely important to work on. And then the same thing on the way back. Instead of starting with M, start with I. And you're gonna get that same inverted fingering for string crossing, which is crucial to work on. Okay, so that's it. It's super simple. It only takes about 10 minutes long, and I'm telling you, I'm ready to sit down and go through a whole hour of technique or a whole hour of repertoire or whatever I'm gonna do, and I know that I'm gonna be way more concentrated, way more engaged in my practice, and I'll get way more out of my practice session than if I had not done the warm-up session. So please consider doing that. I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.